Next question. All right. My gorgeous friend Lance, the cat, is 15 and has hypothyroidism and kidney disease. Very common combination. The vet has prescribed methimazole 2 times a day, 100 ml sub-Q fluids 3 times a week, and prescription kidney food. Lance has always been a fussy eater, and he wouldn't eat the prescription food for long and lost weight. I panicked and stopped giving it to him. I've stopped giving him seafood flavored food and only give him canned food for hydration. Do you have any other recommendations for feeding him? Yes, absolutely. Number 1 golden rule is when they are picky, fussy eaters and they are not eating enough food and you're trying to protein restrict them, but then they're not eating all of that kidney prescription diet, what ends up happening is a double whammy. A, they're not eating enough food, and B, they're eating restricted amounts of a protein restricted diet. This is essentially calorie malnutrition and protein malnutrition. And what you end up with is a cat where my muscle mass is dropping, my weight is dropping, my immune system isn't that healthy, I have a harder time fighting off illness, and there's a number of things that can happen with their nitrogen balance such that the signs of uremia also are accentuated. All of this doesn't sound good, does it? Absolutely not. So the golden rule is when you're trying to get them stabilized, personally, I feed them as healthy as I can, but I essentially feed them what they want. They need to be eating, for me, my goal is 50 kcals times their body weight. 50 kilocals multiplied by their body weight in kilograms equals the amount of calories that I want to see them be eating per day. For some cats, that sounds like a lot, but that's actually the goal to avoid calorie malnutrition. So next part of the question was, should I look for a low phosphorus food or does it not make much of a difference? Absolutely, I try to tweak phosphorus in the food. For me, lowering the phosphorus oftentimes in most stages of CKD is very important, more important than protein restriction, to the point where I'm gonna mod foods. If they're only gonna eat XYZ food that comes from a shelf in a grocery or a pet store or wherever, I'm typically going to talk about adding in phosphate binders. These are things that will take a normal diet and start to and try to inhibit the absorption of phosphorus into that body. High phosphorus or hyperphosphatemia isn't a good prognostic factor. If they are going high with their phosphorus, we don't think they're going to do as well with their overall kidney health. Sometimes we make the suggestion that high phosphorus gives us advanced progression of kidney disease. So I definitely try to drop that phosphorus. Now the blood work might give you a certain interval and it might look like the phosphorus is okay, but typically, some of us want that phosphorus as low as we can get it within normal range. And so it's worthwhile to look at that blood work, talk with your vet, and even if the phosphorus isn't peaking on the blood work outside of normal range, it could be reasonable to add in a phosphate binder to the food that you're using if it's not a prescription kidney diet. So in summary, low phosphorus can be associated with less kidney injury and longevity. Maintaining body weight is definitely associated with longevity. Is the prescription food that important? Should I try again? Well, it depends. It depends. I've seen cats do beautifully on prescription foods. And then there are some cats, just like yours, where they've never taken to it. And in certain ranges of kidney illnesses, it's actually inappropriate to restrict their protein. They don't need that protein restriction yet. What is most important is maintaining healthy levels of protein, dropping that phosphorus, and promoting weight stabilization or weight gain. And I'll take any food that will do that for me. Now finally, would it also be okay if I give him a little steamed shrimp or tilapia from time to time? He definitely misses it. Thank you. Okay. So I like this because this is where the rubber meets the road. For me, the whole point of going through your sub-Q fluids, going through the blood work, going through the expense, going through the emotional labor that it takes to treat these little kitties with CKD, the whole point is so they can have a life that they enjoy. And if that means shrimp and tilapia come into the menu, who is anyone to say no? Absolutely, to me, that would be a joy of life. Thanks so much for your question.